As Spencer is in town, we've decided to stay on the theme of boxing, and why wouldn't we? Because this lunchtime we are joined by former 2 times world champion boxer Paulie Malignaggi. Paulie, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon, man. I'm good. How's everything?
Great to hear your voice, mate. You're a popular boy. I mentioned that you were joining us the other side of the break there, and I can tell you message after message coming in very much in favour of you being in our company. So it's great to have you on board. Paulie, moments ago we spoke to Ben Shalom, of course, the promoter of Chris Eubank Jr, who was talking off the back of Eddie Hearn having joined us yesterday, and all the talk is Conor Benn going in against Eubank Jr. This was Shalom moments ago. Shalom, of course, who looks after Eubank Jr.
No, in my mind, this is a tune-up before the world title. I think that the confidence in the Chris Eubank Jr. camp is we can't believe we can make this fight. It's the biggest fight in British boxing, and really it's a fight that is a foregone conclusion in our eyes. So it's the fight to make. I think it's a fight to make for both guys. I think, in all seriousness, I think it's the fight to make for Conor Benn and Eddie Hearn as well. I do believe it's going to happen, Spence. Like I've never been so confident of it. Everything's lined up to do it. The stadium's there, the promoters are there, and now it's just about Conor just being sensible and accepting a Christmas gift from Chris Eubank Jr.
So it seems that Eubank Jr. against Conor Benn is all but done. Paulie, what do you think of that? Does that whet your appetite?
Yeah. I think it was a bit of a backhanded compliment by Shalom. I think it was, he's complimenting it in the fact that, yes, it's going to be great. It's going to be made. But at the same time, he's saying it's not really the ultimate goal for Eubank. We can't believe they're going to pay us for this, basically a free victory over a guy like this. So I mean, I think it's going to be a fun fight. I think on the back of the fact that it is an incredible domestic matchup in the UK, and it's going to have a lot of fanfare. I think the trash talk is good. I don't think that kind of talk on the part of Shalom is going to be taken lightly by the part of Team Ben and Team Matchroom. I think the trash talk and the build up to this fight could get a little bit nippy and ugly. But then again, if we remember when the fathers were fighting, they weren't exactly best buddies themselves. So I think it's par for the course. You continue into the family lineage. And I think this fight is going to be a tremendous promotion in the UK. I don't think it has the appeal internationally, because neither guy has been a major threat to the world championship. So if neither guy has had that, I think internationally it doesn't gain the same curiosity. But I do think because the UK is such a home for boxing and it's such a massive base for boxing, international boxing, I do think there's going to be a curiosity even in the US and across the pond. Because we know that the boxing is basically a big hub in the UK. So if something's big over there, we must at least be curious. Plus, in the US, we love big atmospheres. We love major atmospheres, and I think a fight between Eubank and Ben, granted, if it's not in the Middle East, I'm not sure if it'll be there. I assume it could be there at least. The atmosphere in the UK would be tremendous between these two fighters if they were to fight in the UK.
Yeah, Paulie, I think they're talking about possibly Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, end of March, beginning of April. It would be a Riyadh season card that they box on. And I think what Ben Shalom was referring to then when he was saying it was a Christmas gift from Chris Eubank Jr. is because of the troubles that Conor Benn has obviously been through. He's been given the all clear now for the fight to go ahead, and Eubank Jr. now starts the A side in this contest because of the troubles that Conor's been through.
Ben is a kind of a smaller guy, so it's a bigger risk to him whenever you're trying to make up weight of this magnitude. I think you're putting together these names because their fathers were huge rivals, and it's transcended the generations. But their fathers were naturally the huge rivals in a naturally same weight class. These two guys, you have to manufacture it a little bit. So when it comes to Eubank being the A side, I think it's just because he's physically the bigger guy. I don't know if he's the bigger draw. I think both guys are rather big draws in the UK. I wouldn't know how to tell you the specifics of who's the bigger draw. You guys would probably know that better than I. But I think that Eubank starts as the favorite for that reason. He's also been a world champion in a smaller denomination with the IBO title. He's been in, I think, with the big names. There's still controversy over Ben's biggest win, which is the Algeria win. So I think if Ben could now come through in a fight like this, I think it would eliminate all controversy as far as his ability to perform at this level. It would really, really be something special for him.
Okay, Paulie, last time out, Usyk beat Fury this Saturday. Not this coming Saturday, a week on Saturday in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. They go again. What are we talking about in your view, Paulie? Repeat or revenge?
The thing about these fights, because fighters don't fight this every 3-4 weeks like they did in the old days, it's very hard to pick these fights when they're time passes like they do in modern day between a rematch, because you have to do both a boxing analysis and a psychoanalysis. You have to see where these guys' heads are at as well, especially when it comes to a guy like Tyson Fury, who seems motivated with all his best intentions. And we've seen what happens when Fury is motivated like this. We've seen that when before the Vladimir Klitschko fight, and nobody really believed in him. We've seen this before the Deontay Wilder rematch, when nobody really believed in him. And both times before those fights, before the Wilder rematch and before the Klitschko fight, he went into this sort of elimination of all distractions, and you were left wondering, okay, yeah, what is he actually doing? And then he really actually did something special, so you end up now with this same kind of mindset. But then you're wondering, at this age, can he still do it? And I know Usyk is a little older. I do know that. But Usyk has always lived a more disciplined, even from a disciplined life, from a living perspective, and also from a mental stability perspective. He's always the same person mentally. These Eastern guys, they're not that emotional when it comes to that. While Westerners, we tend to be a little bit more emotional. We kind of wear our hearts on our sleeves. We let distractions kind of get to us. So, when it comes to that, is Fury the same? Number one, is Fury going to be that kind of motivated again? With from what we've seen, I think he has that in mind. But two, is he too old to be able to summon that kind of performance again? I don't know, I find myself wondering, because again, I'd have to also be a psychoanalyst, a boxing pundit, a physical therapist, doctor, to see where he's at as far as.
We want you to be all these things, Paulie. Be all these things.
Because we don't see these guys every month like we used to. I feel like pundits in maybe the 50s, they didn't have the blessing of the internet, but you saw these guys every month, so you kind of knew what you were watching. These guys, I don't know, man. The first fight was already so competitive.
I think the difference here, Paulie, is for Tyson Fury is he's going into this rematch for the first time, losing his first fight to Oleksandr Usyk. That hasn't happened to him before, and it's about how he reacts to that. Does that feed him? Does that fuel the fire? And I think that Tyson Fury is that sort of character where, he won't have had to go soul searching for this. He will want to right the wrongs of that last contest. And the $1 million question is, like you say, even though Tyson Fury is 1 year younger at 36 years of age than Oleksandr Usyk, it's all about lifestyle and living that lifestyle. And it does catch up with you. You will recognise this as a former fighter yourself. It does catch up with you in the later years when you don't live the right lifestyle. And maybe Tyson Fury might be a victim of that.
And that's definitely one of the analyses we have to have here. You have, because it catches up in conjunction with. And what's the in conjunction with part of this fight? In conjunction with is, remember, nobody's talking about a lot of things, but it's the 3 fights with Wilder. I don't know if Wilder or Fury are the same after those 3 fights. Wilder certainly didn't look the same anymore. And Fury, to me, his punch resistance was always among the best. He's gotten up from Deontay Wilder punches that would have caved in buildings, and now Oleksandr Usyk, a former cruiserweight, was hurting him and dropping him in the first fight. So what is the lingering effects of the 3-fight trilogy with Wilder, who is devastating, maybe one of the most devastating punchers in history? We talk about that made him, so to speak. That was a tremendous rivalry that really cemented a legacy for Tyson Fury among all the other great things that he's done, like the Klitschko victory. But those things sometimes stay with you as well. So it's not just lifestyle; it's also the tough fights you had. Most guys don't survive one night with Deontay Wilder. Fury not only beat Wilder 2 out of 3 fights and probably should have won all 3, but also, survived all 3 fights. You know what I'm saying?
We clearly
saw. Here's the deal: be a psychoanalyst, be a therapist, be wherever you like.
Give us the winner.
Give me a name. Who wins it?
All right. I'm gonna say, you know what? I picked. So don't take me right.
That's the slowest you've talked so far, my man.
I picked Fury the first time, all right, and I lost. So don't. But I'm gonna pick Usyk. I don't think Fury has it anymore. I'm not sure he had it the same way anymore. And it's not a disrespect to Fury. I've always loved Fury. I'm just not sure he can summon it back anymore.
Paulie Malignaggi, as always, thank you so much. We love having you on. Today's no exception. Thank you, mate.
Thanks, mate. Always a pleasure. Cheers.
Absolutely brilliant.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.